Jazz, can you tell me about this upcoming retreat in India that you're planning?
Yeah, sure. I've got a lovely retreat coming up. It's called Awakening Divinity. And the reason it's called Awakening Divinity is because it's going to involve spiritual practices, ceremonies, rituals, including yogic practices,
Right.
that are all spiritually orientated to help us to connect more to the divine nature within us, and so that it helps us to become more in touch with our own spirituality by opening and awakening that divine nature within us. And so we're going to also do some powerful ceremonies working with the elements, so the elements of like fire, water, earth, air, and the ether, which is the Akash. And we're going to go to do some journeys, like go to the Golden Temple.
Wow.
And so people can experience, that on a massive, like, deep spiritual level, because the Golden Temple, obviously it's a powerful space, very powerful sacred space, and people can dip their feet into the water, the holy water, and meditate while they're doing that. And so that's kind of like part of the connection with water, and then we've got a mela, which is like a spiritual gathering at our own hometown, and it happens every year in October, and it's done by a lot of the locals and devotees of my grandfather, who was a sadhu. And a sadhu is somebody who abandons this sort of material path and the worldly sort of desires that we have, and goes on his path to work on himself, and then come back with the knowledge to help people.
So is that a bit like a priest, or?
It's more than a priest, it's more like a shaman.
Right.
So if you look at the name sadhu, shaman, very similar, aren't they? He had like shamanic sort of knowledge within him, because he helped a lot of people, and he did ceremonies for people.
So this is passed on from generation to generation.
Yeah, so he had this knowledge that, he had to go and work on himself, because, originally he abandoned everything and everyone and went off to the Himalayas.
Wow.
And then he came back many years later, and all of a sudden he was found to be helping people.
That's amazing.
And he would know things in advance, before they happened,
Was he always on this quest of enlightenment beforehand?
I don't know much about that, because he passed away a long time ago, and we had already moved to England.
Right.
But there is an interesting thing in terms of my connection with my grandfather, because of all our family here, all our siblings, I was the only one that was born there, in his home.
Right.
So for me, I always feel this connection, like it calls me.
A deep-rooted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And none of my other siblings feel, this calling.
Because they didn't have that connection.
Could be, I don't know, but I have that connection. I was born there, and I have this calling, and it feels very much like that he is my guide. I get a lot of information through him, and I'm following very much in his footsteps.
Yes.
Helping people.
Yes.
And working spiritually. So we have this mela, and part of this trip is for people to experience this mela, which is a spiritual gathering. and in the Milla they have local artists and singers and dancers, you know, that come and do lots of entertainment
Wow.
for a couple of days. Yeah, and it's a really, really kind of nice time that people get together. So there is that happening, the Milla, the Golden Temple. We're hoping to go to Rishikesh, which is, you know, the birthplace of yoga, and we want to do arti along the banks of the River Ganges, you know, in the evening. Again, that's very deeply spiritual and powerful.
Yes.
That's working, you know, people can sort of light the lamps and let them off onto the water again. That's working with fire energy, it's earth energy, it's water energy, and it's air energy, because the movement, you know, as it floats, that's air that's carrying it.
Yes.
So we're going to work very much with the elements on this trip, and you know, work with the ceremonies, meditation, yoga, and some travelling. So.
And it sounds like a lot of high vibrational work going on here.
Very high vibrational stuff. You know, the practice is going to be very, very high vibrational, and that's why the trip is called Awakening Divinity.
Wow.
You know, we're awakening that divine within us, and if people are already in touch and connected, it's expanding on that. You know, because we have lots and lots of layers.
Yes.
We can just keep going, expanding.
That sounds really brilliant.
But it is very much about having your own internal experience.
The inner work.
Yeah, the inner work, having your own internal experience, doing your own inner work.
Yes.
And part of it is also about just being and letting go and having a bit of fun as well.
Yeah,
You know? People can also experience what the village life is like, how the locals really live, because where we are going, where the Milla is not really, well, it isn't. It's not a tourist area.
No.
You know, and you won't find tourists there. It's all the local people.
Right.
And so people can experience.
Yes.
People who are going to come with me on this trip will experience how the locals live, you know, and how the community live, and enjoy local foods and local culture.
Yeah.
Things
so
like
it's a real opportunity to see real life. Yeah.
And also, you know, like a lot of the basics, away from so much of the sort of materialized world that we have got so used to.
Yes.
It really takes you away from all that.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yes.
So that is my trip. It is happening in October this year, 2018. And yeah, again, if you're interested, get in touch with us on the website.
So that will be your website, the best way to book on this retreat.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the details will be just below. Yes. Well, thanks very much for letting us know about this lovely retreat. To me, it just sounds magical.
I can't wait.
Yeah,
Can't wait till October. Really looking forward to it. And also, you know, if there are people who are interested in coming, if you are interested in coming, you can also bring your talents for us to share. You know, like if you do something like drumming, or you play a certain instrument that you can bring with you, or you have something you know, that you can share with the rest of the group, we would welcome that. We would really love that, because one of the things that I want to do is, you see, we have temples there on both sides of my parents' family, my mum's side and my dad's side, and we are also expanding the temple into like an ashram. And so what I will be looking for is volunteers who are interested to go and do work with the local people there, like for example, maybe the children, maybe do an English class, you know, not just with the children, maybe some of the local women do some English classes, do some yoga, whatever skill or talent people have, they get a chance to stay there in the village and you know, give something back
Oh yes.
to communities, to humanity, you know, that they can give.
It's a real sharing experience. Yeah.
Seva. Seva, selfless service, you know. The more we give out, the more we get back. Yeah.
Perfect.
So look forward to hearing from you guys, and hopefully see some of you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please subscribe.
Like a bird on a tree, I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see.